a girl
and her gay watch the Magic School Bus.
It's the show where we yap about life, science, and go on an occasional rant about the state of the world. I'm Sarah.
And I'm Matt. We're your hosts, and we're here to invite you to our weekly yap sesh, bring you some 90s and 2000s nostalgia, and maybe teach you a little science.
Every Wednesday, we're hopping on the Magic School Bus, unpacking the science without the pressure of a pop quiz, and I'll be asking the questions I was too bored or afraid to ask in school.
Curiosity leads.
Chaos follows.
Hey everybody, welcome back to A Girl and Her Gay Watch the Magic School Bus. Today we're talking about episode 3, Inside Ralphie, from season 1. Before we recap today's episode, what are you thinking about, Sarah?
Okay, I know exactly what I'm thinking about.
I'm ready.
So this episode is relevant because, as the people will soon find out, it's about being sick. I have been sick, which has meant a lot of downtime. All my brain is capable of doing is just watching television. So the people are going to hear that I have burned through Game of Thrones in a later episode. They're going to hear on this episode that I have burned through Abbott Elementary, which is a fantastic show. If you haven't seen it, please go watch it. If you haven't watched it in the last, week or so, go rewatch it. It is so cute. But I'm wrapping up season 4, and they had a science fair day. And the envy that I had of these kids, it made me realize that I have never had a science fair or have had to do a proper science project. And seeing volcanoes, it's like such a trope, but I've never created a volcano. I've never created a alarm clock from a potato. There are so many fantastic traditional, I want to say stereotypical, but like traditional kids science projects that I've never gotten to do. And so I think maybe the next time I come over to yours, we should do one.
I think we should.
Okay.
Honestly, I think you should prepare a science fair project and present it to me for Patreon content.
Oh my God, that's so mean. But yes, I'll put on the whole fair because you know me, I love a balloon arch.
There's going to be multiple stations.
We'll have different outfits.
That would be a really cute party idea.
An adult science fair?
Yeah.
That would be so fun. Like the weather's nice. You could set it up outside.
Yeah.
Call your people.
Just have mimosas and hang out.
That especially.
Yeah.
I mean, the only thing I think more fun than making a volcano would be making a volcano if you're like a little tipsy.
Yeah, just a little tipsy. I would also love to do like a PowerPoint night where everyone like brings
love a PowerPoint night
and just like presents to the class.
I love those PowerPoint nights, whether it's about a special interest or the people who explain their jobs. I think is so funny because I have so many people that work. What do you do?
Sarah, what do I do? Quickly.
You are a project manager for a pharmaceutical manufacturing company. Did I do it?
You did it.
Yay! That is what you do. How you do it, I don't know.
Emails.
What do you want to talk about? What have you been up to?
Oh God,
we haven't yapped because I've been down and out.
I know. What have I been up to? I don't even know. I feel like without you being around to keep me moving, I've done nothing. I've just sat at home playing Pocopia and waiting for you to return.
How did your Fire and Ice Island work out?
It still looks quite phallic. I haven't revisited that to see how we best approach that. Today I laid the foundation for what is going to be a many-hour painstaking process of trying to recreate the Halliwell Manor.
What's the Halliwell Manor? Should I know this?
The TV series Charmed.
Oh, okay. I don't know her like that, but it sounds like something you know.
My Pocopia Island. Yeah. I mean, it was one of my shows growing up, one of the early indicators that I may have had some tendencies.
Got it.
Before we move on, can I tell you a little story about when I helped host a science fair?
Yeah.
So, a lot of work, but it was a lot of fun. But one memory that sticks out specifically to me is I had created an extensive playlist to play in the gym for background music. And thankfully, I sent that playlist to another teacher to proofread, we shall say.
Uh-huh.
I put in Shoop, which
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think there was anything wrong with. And she was like, one of the lyrics is literally, "What's my weakness? Men." She's like,
Yeah.
I don't think we can use that for the science fair.
Felt it in my hips, so I dip back to my bag of tricks. Then I flip for a tip, made me wanna do tricks on them, lick them like a lollipop should be lit. Came to my senses and I chill for a bit.
Now that you mention it, thank you for your
Also,
expert
yet
review.
another sign, but like, oh my gosh, should we dive into it?
Yeah, let's get into it.
All right, well, tell the people what we just witnessed.
Okay, so it is broadcast day. Our friend Ralphie wakes up in an absolute panic because he's not done his homework and is very unsure of what to do. But he is saved by the unfortunate fact that he is quite ill. His mom comes in and is like, "You're not going to school today. Like you're unwell."
His physician mother, that's Dr. Mom to you, put some respect on her name.
Dr. Mom.
Thank you.
Yes. And then from there, he doesn't get out of broadcast day because Miss Frizzle and the class bring broadcast day to him, where he becomes the subject of broadcast day. They go inside his body to watch his immune system fight off the illness that he has. And yeah, I think that about covers it.
Yeah, a thorough examination. Yeah, Miss Frizzle in all of her wisdom brings the entire class to this boy's sick bed. Absolute insanity. Drinks down the bus, tries to go in through his throat. He chokes on them and like coughs up. I don't understand. This bus can get microscopically small. I'm talking Ant-Man. Why she was the size of like a double dose of gabapentin, I don't understand. This thing was an absolute hazard. And she's like, oh, well.
Did it have a propeller?
Spinning blades on this thing. Absolute craziness. And the kids had Wanda was like, oh my God, Ralphie, like you asshole. Like she is the worst.
You coughed us out.
Girl, he's actively dying. I'd also like to highlight that Ralphie was like, had a little tickle, a little cough in, minute 3, 4. By the end of the episode, this man was in a coma. Liz was trying to wake him up with like gongs and alarm clocks. He had like bags under his eyes. His body was weak. The escalation of this
very rapid
sickness. And I don't know, his mom was just sitting there hanging out with him. And I'm like, Miss Ma'am, like check his blood
an ambulance.
Like I watched The Pit now, okay? We gotta hustle, okay? Crazy.
You also had a pretty strong reaction to how they eventually did get into his body.
Yeah, the open wound, like absolute insanity. So he peels back his little Band-Aid. It's like kind of scabbed on the edges. It was gore porn. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. Just absolutely horrific. And then they like bloop, the splash sound that the bus, which was minuscule. I'm still a little hung up, as I tend to be each and every one of these episodes. I'm like, this is unrealistic.
This magical bus would never.
I am way too practical. No, but yeah, the open wound thing was really upsetting. And you mentioned it once or twice. Once they got into the bloodstream, Miss Frizzle was like, head north. And you're like,
define north.
We live in like a 4D world here, lady. Like, what do you mean?
Yeah. Gonna need to tell me where on the XY axis that's going.
Yeah. So we're in the bloodstream. Can we talk about the bloodstream as my
Let's
first
talk about
question?
it. Yeah, let's get into it.
So they depicted it, and we saw red blood cells, great, white blood cells, which looked like angry cotton balls.
Yeah.
With like little sniffy noses and mouths. Crazy. And antibodies, which were depicted as sort of these like cartoon Ys. Cartoon seems redundant, obviously. And what else was in there? What's the stuff that's not red cell, white cell? What's just like the goo?
Yeah, so that's just the plasma.
What's albumin?
It's a protein that's in the plasma, I believe.
Oh, okay.
I know when I was doing biochemistry stuff in college, we used egg white albumin.
Egg.
I
don't know why I thought that was blood.
No, I think there is albumin in your blood as well. I think it's a protein that's seen across multiple species in different parts of the body.
Okay.
We'll fact check that.
And we always try to. So when you get blood taken and they put it in the centrifuge, centrifuge, but is it centrifugal force?
Yeah, use the centrifugal force. Yep.
What's the difference between centrifugal and centripetal?
Oh, Lord, there is a difference. Yeah, there's a difference.
Okay.
I don't know off the top of my head what it is. Physics is my weak suit.
Okay,
Getting
great.
real nitty-gritty on types of forces, I'm gonna have to do some research. Hey, Matt from the future again. So a little bit of crazy physics here. So centripetal force is a real force, and it is the result of something pulling you to the center. Centrifugal force is considered a made-up force. It's something that you experience, but isn't actually what's going on. So you feel that pulling outward in a circular motion, because your body is actually trying to maintain a straightforward trajectory. So if you come around a sharp curve in a car, your body wants to keep going straight, but the car has curved. And so you feel pressed against the side of the car because your body's actually trying to continue in a straightforward pattern.
Okay, well, we'll just go back to the heart of the question. So when you go to the doctor and they take a blood sample and they put it in the centrifuge, it separates into those 3 layers?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Just making sure I wasn't missing anything.
Do you want to know why that happens?
Wait.
Yeah, it's weight.
Okay. And we waited for him to affirm me.
Well, honestly, for a second, I thought you were telling me to wait. I was like, and then my brain caught up and I was like, oh, yes, it is weight.
Yeah. Great. Fantastic. Okay. So red blood cells are what oxygenate our body, right?
Yes. Yep. They carry
White
oxygen.
blood cells are what?
Yeah. So they are immune cells. There are a bunch of different types of immune cells, but the ones that we saw were primarily phagocytes, which is a classification of cells where they engulf their prey through a process of phagocytosis. So they actually like stretch their membrane around it and then reclose. And then once it's inside, it sort of pinches off that little piece of membrane. So they just have like a little encapsulated pathogen hanging out inside them.
Oh.
And then they'll kill it.
So the depiction of them being sniffed out and eaten actually wasn't all that incorrect.
I mean, it was a little anthropomorphized, but yeah, they like hunt them down, gulp them up, and then kill them.
Fascinating. So can we talk about a larger picture, the actual immune system? When I think about a body system, I think about the circulatory system, and we can like name all the different parts, and it has like flow and order. What is the immune system? What makes up that?
Yeah, so there are specific structures in the immune system. One of the ones you're most probably familiar with is lymph nodes, right? So like when you go to the doctor, you grab your throat, check to see if their lymph nodes are swollen.
Mm-hmm.
Those activate and inflame when you're sick to help with immune processes. I believe there's some storage of immune cells in there. So the lymphatic system and lymph nodes are a big part of immunity, and then the cells. And then also, I mean, your liver and kidneys and gallbladder also play a role because they're helping like excrete broken down cells and things like that. There's obviously the different types of cells that are still part of the immune system. They're not centralized necessarily in one structure, but they do play a critical role. But then you also have sort of like structures, like the fact that we have nose hair is to help provide a preliminary defense against like large things coming in through your nose. It sort of filters as it goes. You saw him cough.
Mm-hmm.
So like that
I'm very familiar with that.
Is part of the immune system. So I mean, I think it's not quite as visible as like the skeletal system.
Right.
But is sort of classified as its own system.
Is our skin in there?
Yeah. Right. Your skin would be part of your immune system because it creates a physical barrier for pathogens. It overlaps. So like sort of in the way like even circulatory system and skeletal system overlap. So like your blood cells are created in your bone marrow.
Right.
That's like what people who have like sickle cell anemia and things like that will get bone marrow transplants to
I
get
am
healthy.
on the donor list, and everyone should be on the donor list. Save a life. Matt, are you on the bone marrow donor list?
I don't know.
I will send you some information.
Thank you. I'm an organ donor.
As we all should be.
hopefully not soon, but like if
But
I
yeah.
should have an untimely demise.
I had a guy at a bar once be like, I'm not an organ donor because if they see that on your license after a tragic car accident, they don't try to save your life. And I'm like, sir, do you really think EMTs are looking for your driver's license as like step number 1 so that they can harvest you? Like, also, you seem to be drinking heavily. I don't think they would want your organs.
Your liver's pickled, buddy.
Sir.
Yeah. No, and unfortunately that's a like misnomer that carries on because like it's good TV for a medical drama to be like,
Has that
we
been
can
depicted on television?
Yeah.
That seems irresponsible.
It's brought up on, I think it's been on Grey's. I think it's been on some of the other shows. I forget the name of them, but like I see their
Grace.
TikToks where
Got
it's like
a million hours of
well,
runtime.
this person is a organ donor and like we should unplug them so we can like harvest their organs to give to this child. And then like the person is brain dead, but they wake up magically. And I'm like,
I can't with the magical wake ups.
yeah, I think Dr. Shepard suddenly realizes that like, oh, we just need to shock their brain a little bit and they'll be right as rain because he's the only brain surgeon in the world who could possibly bring someone back from a coma.
It's too, and you know my protocol. If I am so much as admitted to a hospital, you pull that plug. Absolutely
Don't even
not.
plug it in.
No, you pick my mustache hair and you pull that plug. Absolutely not. Okay. So we know what's up with the blood. We know what's up with the immune system. Can we talk about antibodies?
I can't.
Thank you. So how are they made? How are they remembered? How are they created? And how are they stored? Where's the information for them once we learn it?
Yeah. So I'm a little weak on some of this, but let me start with what I do know, and then we'll get more speculative, and then future Matt might pop in and correct me even further. So antibodies are sort of like your immune system's memory. They can hang around for a particularly long time, but they don't necessarily hang around forever. So like one of the things that people were looking at back during COVID was how long you were keeping antibodies for COVID in your body to see how long the vaccines might last and how soon you might be at risk for getting infected again. And it was also a way to see if you had been infected but were asymptomatic. Mm-hmm. Because if you produced the antibodies, then your body had been exposed to that pathogen and had the antibodies. So depending on the infection, the antibodies will hang out in your blood and just be kind of circulating, waiting to see it again, which is why for like things like the flu, in the same flu season, if you get the flu once, you often don't get it again. Right. Because there's usually a pretty dominant strain of flu that's going around every year. And once you get it once, you're not going to get it again. Now, sometimes you're unlucky and there's like flu A and flu B and you can get both, but that can happen. Or like, colds famously, the virus that causes a cold mutates pretty quickly, but you're not very likely to get a cold in the same like 3-month span, right? And then for some viruses, they are much more long-lived. And eventually the antibody may decrease in your blood, but your body remembers how to make them. So it will reproduce more antibodies earlier when you get that infection, right? So if you get infected with a novel virus that your body's never seen, it has to like figure out how to make the antibodies for that particular pathogen. But then when it sees it again, it's like, oh, I've already got the recipe for that, right? So I can whip that up pretty quick and we can get to fighting earlier. So oftentimes in those cases, you may get sick again, but less severely, or you may get infected again, but never even realize that you have been sick.
Which is so cool. I love that it's just this little secret thing that happens behind the scenes. So what you talk about it being a recipe. What are the ingredients? I don't actually like physically, I don't understand what is going in there that then does this. I'm going to need to like rephrase the question because it's twofold. Maybe you can help me like explain this to myself. What actually are the ingredients that make an antibody? And what do the antibodies actually do? Because the way it was depicted was they were basically just like markers, right? Like a tag to say, hey, white blood cells kill this thing. Why does that need a specific recipe for each and everything?
Yeah. So my understanding is that there are a couple of different things antibodies do. They are produced by the cells and made a protein. So they deactivate the pathogen. And so they can attach to a specific active site on the pathogen to like render it useless. In some cases, there are like tags basically that like that tag attaches it to the pathogen, and then the phagocytes are like, oh, that's something I need to eat. Like I need to get rid of that thing. So it can help like your immune cells recognize it as a pathogen. It's a team effort in there. So just a little bit more about antibodies. So antibodies are created in the lymph nodes, and they have several different functions they can perform. So antibodies can tag pathogens, they can inactivate pathogens, and they can actually damage the cell wall of bacteria to actually destroy those. And then another function that they also have is they can attach to multiple pathogens typically, so they'll clump them together for easier removal.
That makes it a little bit more clear. Okay, so jumping over to my next kind of thread. What is germ? Is it just an umbrella term for everything that is potentially infectious or like not good for us or whatever?
Yeah. So, I mean, germs, as you think of them, I think when people are referring to germs, they're generally referring to bacteria.
Okay, right.
I think sort of colloquially, when we think of germs, we think of bacteria. Like you're like, oh, gotta, wash the germs off your hands, or and maybe people do include viruses in that. I say generally I've been using the term pathogen, which is like anything that can make you sick, right?
Okay.
So it could be fungal, could be viral, could be bacterial, parasitic, a
Perfect.
prion.
You knew exactly where I was going with this, because I wanted you to then explain the different types of pathogens, which you just have. So we have bacteria, virus, fungus, and parasite. Gross, all of them. I think I have a couple questions about each of them sort of individually, but I guess why does our body react to them all differently if they're all just like not supposed to be in us and so they make us sick? Can you explain like the different complexities of like each of these different things?
Yeah. So a lot of it's going to depend on what they are attacking, right? So like strep bacteria is in your throat, and so that causes your throat to like feel swollen and scratchy and itchy.
Can people get
right?
strep in their eye?
I think so, yeah.
Terrible.
You can also get herpes in your eye.
You can get shingles in your eye.
Yeah, which sounds awful. I don't want anything in my eye.
No, I can't even put in contacts without gagging with a little bit. I don't want any of that in my eye. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. So some of it's going to have to do with where the actual pathogen is, right? Like bacterial infection in your stomach causes diarrhea, vomiting, like your body's trying to clear it out. And then part of it is, right, the way that your body is trying to attack it, right? Do we need to like try to expel this? So vomiting, diarrhea, coughing, like we're trying to get mucus out. And like mucus isn't from the sickness. Your body's creating the mucus to like try and attack the illness, right?
Okay. I want to get into some self-defense techniques later.
Okay.
So we'll pin mucus because I don't think that's on my little cheat sheet of questions. So am I wrong in thinking that each of these are physically more complex than others? Like bacteria, is it like more of a single cell situation, or am I wrong in that?
Yeah, so bacteria are typically going to be single-celled organisms. Fungi are a little weird.
I feel like they're always kind of over here. Like we have a list and then like fungus.
Yeah, I mean like Legionnaires is an example of a fungal infection. Gets into your respiratory system, can be quite bad. But that's like fungus inside water droplets, which then can like grow in your body and wreak havoc.
Terrifying.
Yeah.
Take your mold very seriously, people.
Mm-hmm.
Get your HVACs cleaned.
Replace that filter regularly.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, and then viruses are weird.
Okay. I love it when your face lights up like this. Tell me.
Viruses are weird in that there's some debate in the scientific community as to whether or not they're even alive.
Wait, who's debating who? Did we think that they were alive, but they're not alive, or like the opposite?
I mean, they are what they are, right? But they're viruses. So they're basically just a like encapsulated strand of RNA, which is more basic than DNA. So DNA is deoxyribonucleic acid. RNA is just ribonucleic acid. It's not double-stranded, it's single-stranded, more like easily damaged. And so, but like viruses don't really have any, they need a host to survive and replicate. They can't do it on their own. And so like in a way that like a bacterial cell can like move around and like do some of its own cellular processes, viruses can't do that. They need to find a host, infect a particular type of cell or cells in that host body, and then use that to like reproduce themselves. So they basically hijack your cells into making more of them.
So like a cancer.
Yes. And like some viruses can cause cancers. Right? Like HPV is known to cause cervical cancer. So like they can change the cell in a way that would produce cancer. I wouldn't necessarily completely liken them to cancer in that like
it's a strip.
Yeah. They really aren't their own cell, but they inject their DNA into your cell. And then when your cell, and so like that injection process can cause mutation, right? Leading to cancer. But then once they put their RNA inside your cell into your DNA, when you go to replicate your DNA, you just replicate their DNA too and make more of them. And like your cell then produces these proteins that then create another virus copy.
I don't like that at all.
Yeah.
So what are our medical defenses? So I know bacteria can be treated with antibiotics, viruses.
And take all of your antibiotics, please.
PSA from Matt and me and my doctor of pharmacy, Aunt Allison. Shout out, hey, bub. Finish your antibiotics. Even though you're feeling better, finish them. Thank you.
Finish the
fight. That's not on that. You just wait till we get to vaccines, people. Buckle up. Okay, so then viruses, a lot of them we do have vaccines against, right? Shout out HPV. What other, is polio a virus? What's up with polio? It's coming back.
I believe polio is viral, but I'm not sure. There are vaccines that are effective against bacterial infections.
Ooh, that's fun.
So there are vaccines that do some weird stuff, and I don't fully understand how that works. Like it makes sense to me with virus for some reason in a way that it doesn't make sense for bacteria. But I suppose it should, right? Like in a vaccine, you're given either a piece of a pathogen or an inactivated pathogen. There are still some live viruses out there, but pretty much we don't use those anymore. We're given just like a baby dose of a pathogen. And then your body sees it and is like, that's an invader. It attacks it. And we're teaching the immune system how to attack that thing, right? The COVID vaccines were a little different and sort of a newer, better vaccine in that they actually gave your body the instructions to produce the piece of virus that you were then going to attack.
A shortcut.
Yeah. So that was cool. And that's, part of what freaked a lot of people out about it. Like it felt very novel and new. They'd actually been in development for decades. They're likely, or a likely candidate for actually, like mRNA vaccines are a really great candidate for a potential vaccine for HIV. And they've been working on that since the 80s, so almost over 40 years now.
Right.
So where was I going with this?
We were talking
vaccines,
about
ways in which you can deal with viruses. So in a lot of cases, viruses need to run their course. We can do sort of palliative care for them. So like treat the symptoms, give you fluids, like, and there are antiviral medications, which, help stop the replication of the virus. So those are helpful. Like antiretrovirals are used in HIV, which is super cool because basically at this point you can have HIV, but have it not be transmissible.
Awesome.
And live a pretty normal life with it. And on the same token, there's medications where you can take them daily and you can't get HIV. So
it's like birth control for HIV.
Yeah, pretty much.
Fantastic.
Or you can just get a shot once a month.
Yeah. Look into
in both
PrEP.
cases.
Not us being on the show for Big Pharma.
Look, they are bad in a lot of ways.
Yeah, big
in a lot
pharma
of
is
ways.
bad in a lot of ways.
That being said,
Right.
the medications and the science that come out of them oftentimes are life-changing for people. It's a double-edged sword, right?
Absolutely. So how do we deal with like parasite?
Mm-hmm. You take your ivermectin.
Have you tried bleach?
Ivermectin is actually an anti-parasitic
Yes.
drug. Bleach is not.
You should see the amazing things it does, though.
If you've listened to our digestive system episode, you know that bleach is a base and our bodies don't tolerate bases well. Drink your vinegar, not your bleach.
We should make merch.
Yeah. So there are anti-parasitic drugs, right? And what those will do, there are some that they actually speed up the life cycle of the parasite.
Ooh.
So that they're not hitting the critical milestones of their development in the right part of the body, right? So like hookworms, for example, have to live in one area, reproduce, and then lay eggs in a different area of the body. I'm not going to get into exactly where because
We know where.
we know where. If you don't know where, Google at your own caution.
My grandma would always say about a wiggly child who refuses to sit still, she'd be like, that boy got worms. She didn't even have a southern accent. Just like, that boy's got worms. Muriel.
And so then their eggs end up in the digestive system further along or further up, and then they get, destroyed.
Yeah.
So that's one of the ways that antiparasitics.
Cool.
There's also, some of them you just kind of poison yourself a little bit. So it poisons them more than it poisons
Just hope
you.
you're stronger than the worm.
Yeah. I mean, you are.
Okay, can we talk about our favorite thing?
Is it prions?
It's prions. Let's talk about prions.
Hate a prion.
I know it makes you nervous, but what are they? Talk to me.
We're really getting into my fears. We started with space right off the gate, and now we're talking about prions.
Yeah, I love this stuff because I don't know anything. Ignorance really is bliss. I'm like, la la la, let's talk about mad cow.
Oh yeah, I was worried about Ebola in the 6th grade, and then it, happened.
It happened.
I mean, it was, to be fair, it was happening the whole time.
Mm.
It wasn't happening to people that the World Health Organization actually cared about, which is unfortunate.
But we're not political here.
But yeah, in 6th grade, I was worried about it, and it happened.
I'm really sorry
So,
you went through that.
That's all right. Toughen me up, I guess. I appreciate if I'm going to have anxieties that they be about real things that could happen.
I do like that about your
And,
anxieties. But yeah, mine
I
are
can
more
prepare.
mystical. Quit stalling. Talk about a prion.
Yeah, so prions are just misfolded proteins. Some of them are genetic. I think most of them are actually genetic. And your body creates proteins that then don't fold properly, and they fold in a weird way.
Mm-hmm.
And that weird way ends up leading to a neurodegenerative disease.
Yeah.
Which is really tragic and not great for the people that it affects. And then there's some mad cow where you can get infected. So eating the tissue of infected beef gives you the prion, and then it is in your system and it tells your body to stop folding the proteins correctly. And then you get a neurodegenerative condition.
Kuru, as my mom and I found out accidentally, is the name of the prion disease that you get from cannibalism. So
yeah.
We do still use it daily to describe just a general sort of cough due to cold, much to the chagrin of anyone who knows what it is. What other prion diseases are out there, like household names that the people would know?
Gosh, I don't know. I feel like mad cow is the big one. Certainly within the classic of tragic genetic diseases, there's Huntington's. I don't believe that's a prion, but it's not dissimilar. It, like a lot of these prion diseases that are genetic, they typically affect people later in life, past prime reproductive age. So until we had, modern genetic counseling, people were passing them on to their family members genetically and then not knowing that they had it. And then they would get it. And at that point, it's too late, which is really, really unfortunate.
Yeah.
Especially for the family members of people who are caring for someone with Huntington's, because it's quite a devastating condition. And then all the while being like, I'm looking into my future potentially.
Yeah. Heartbreaking. I was just looking on my phone. You did send me, and we will link it below, an article from, it was just a post on the Good, but I'm sure we can find the full article that Huntington's disease was successfully treated for the first time fairly recently. So we will link that. So there is hope. There is scientists dedicated to figuring these things out. But in the meantime, yeah, let's talk about a stressor. That's certainly a hard thing to go through. Ready for a subject change?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's get away from
Okay.
prions.
So we've talked about immune system basics. We've talked about, whatever, germs as an all-encompassing thing. Can we get into, do you want to go symptoms or do you want to go allergies? I'll let you choose your own adventure.
Let's do allergies because I feel like we're going to get into symptoms from allergies.
Okay, so allergies are annoying.
Mhm.
Then that is that. What's the difference between being actually infected by something and being allergic to something?
Yeah. So the thing about allergies versus like an actual pathogen is pathogens get into your body and are harmful and are generally trying to replicate within your body to induce harm. Allergies are things that your body mistakes for a pathogen but aren't actually harmful, right? So like pollen is a prime example. Your body's like, I don't think this is supposed to be here. We should respond to that. It's not actually harmful to you in any real way. And so your body is eliciting an immune response for something that's just not harmful to you to varying degrees, right? Like, you can be allergic to pollen and have, runny eyes, itchy nose, that kind of stuff. You can be allergic to shellfish and go into anaphylaxis.
Yeah, can we stop on
Crazy work.
anaphylaxis? That just seems like the most, and again, symptoms, right? But like a body, like our body's physical ways of reacting to, we're trying to rid ourselves of what's the word that you use? Not germ.
Pathogens.
I gotta write it down. Yeah, the ways that our body uses to rid ourselves of pathogens seem really ineffective a lot of the time. Like, I'm sorry, anaphylaxis just does not seem to be the way. Like, I am going to kill myself over the fact that I just ate a shrimp because I don't like it that much. That's girl.
Yeah. And I will say with allergies that like elicit like anaphylactic, I do think that might be a separate category from like actual like hay fever, right?
Sure.
And I don't know a ton about what causes anaphylaxis. So I'm going to put that in a little box for now and talk about some of the other symptoms that I do know more about and I think are like more closely related to the episode. So, one of the things that your body loves to do when you're infected with something is give you a fever. And the reason why your body does that as a preliminary defense is that proteins only work at a particular temperature and pH. And so your body is trying to raise the temperature to hopefully render the pathogen's proteins ineffective. Now, unfortunately, your body's proteins only function at a particular temperature. And so if it is not successful, that can then lead to like damage to your body. And I think something that we often forget is that like prior to antibiotics, like a cut or a scrape could kill someone.
Yeah.
Very easily, especially, but before antibiotics, there was also not necessarily a good understanding of hygiene, like just soap and water on a cut.
Sure. Well,
right?
We didn't know what a germ was to then go, let's keep ourselves clean. Let's not use, river
Just rub some
water.
dirt in it.
Yeah, to rinse off from our stab wound,
Yeah.
Like, I get it. That's crazy.
But so truly for a lot of human evolution, like these things were life or death situations. So like what's a little brain damage when you survive, right? So like a fever is a pretty solid self-defense mechanism, right?
Sure.
And then like you have mucus, your body excretes that for a couple of reasons. Like one, to push and flush things out, right? So like if your nose is running, you're keeping things moving out, your eyes are watering, you're keeping your tear ducts clear. But also mucus can help like encapsulate in pathogens and then like you can, cough the bacteria out of your lungs in the mucus, right? So sort of helping reduce the load that your body is having to fight against.
What's mucus made out of? Is it white blood cell corpses?
I don't think so.
Mm.
I think it's just a fluid that your body produces. I'm sure there's proteins in it because I'm
Just like
sure
a
it's
special sauce.
it's like more active. I mean, there's water in it, obviously. Hey, Matt from the future. Mucus is actually made up of proteins, antibodies, enzymes, salts, and lipids. The proteins are kind of sticky traps for the pathogens. Antibodies do the functions that we've discussed previously in the episode, and then enzymes will help sort of break down and destroy pathogens. Salts and lipids act as a barrier, and then also in your mucus is any dead pathogens that your body wants to remove that way. I would guess there's proteins in it, maybe some albumin.
You can't reference things that I'm going to cut. The people will be so confused.
We're cutting albumin?
Maybe. I don't know what I was thinking of, but I don't think I was thinking of albumin. You said egg?
No, I think you were. I'm going to Google it real quick. Albumin. A vital protein produced by the liver that maintains blood volume.
Okay, so yeah, there's albumin in blood. Hell yeah.
Albumin in egg. They're spelled different. Egg
Shut
white.
up.
Egg white is albumin, but
it's a different thing.
ALBUMEN. But albumin in blood is ALBUMIN.
M-I-N.
So we were both kind of right. It's the same word, just spelled differently.
And it's just like earlier when I said the word wait, and you
and I waited.
Stared at me. This bit is tale as old as time, babe.
Said, and I'm waiting. Sitting alone in the VIP, just...
That would have actually been so funny. I said, wait. And you said, take your time.
Yeah, so we got to cut the whole albumin thing.
Okay, so we've kind of waylaid a little bit from allergies into symptoms now. So we talked about fever. We've talked about mucus. Can we talk about body aches? Because that one really pisses me off when I'm sick.
Yeah.
Why does my whole body get just like, it feels like a bruise. It feels like I've been punched.
Yeah. So basically, part of your immune system's response is like full systemic inflammation as it like gears up to manufacture the things that it needs to fight the infection. And the way that you feel that inflammation is through body aches. And it's pretty terrible. I, as a youth, never thought the body aches. I'm like, what do you mean body aches? And as I've gotten sick as an older person in my early middle age, I get sick and I'm like, oh, like I've been hit by a truck.
The body aches are rough. And they reference it on the show. They talked about being tired and that like rest is the best way. Is it just because your body is not preoccupied doing other things so it can just focus on, you know, kind of lower function for everything else and just really hitting the illness hard?
Yeah. So, I mean, anytime that you're, you know, actively up and moving, you're expending energy to do those bodily functions. And if you can conserve that energy, your body can use that towards its immune response and fighting back against the pathogen. And then, I mean, also like actual sleep has, you know, your body goes through processes that, you know, help it to recover and do all the things that it needs to do to, you know, help you feel better quicker.
Fantastic. And we have to mention it because I asked on an earlier episode, and I feel like this is the episode to ask. Can we talk about the blood-brain barrier? You said it wouldn't happen, but it's happening.
We can. Yeah.
Okay. So what is it?
So it's a barrier between the blood and the brain.
Mine's extra thick. That's why I am the way I am. No blood up there.
Yeah, no. So basically the supply of blood in your brain and the supply of blood in your body are sort of kept separate. There is a semi-permeable membrane there so that things can diffuse through that need to, like fluids and whatnot, to like keep the consistency right. But larger things cannot pass through. So it's a way of helping your body keep an infection in the body and out of the brain. Because like everything in your body really is in service of keeping your brain healthy and alive. So if you get an infection in your brain, that's a real big problem. But on the flip side to that, if you do get an infection in your brain, it can be hard to treat because your body keeps the medications out of your brain. And so that can become a challenge in treatment.
Yeah, anecdotally, because that's all I can bring to the table. When my mom was in high school, her dad had a brain infection and they gave him, this would have been the late 80s, they gave him a PICC line I guess, into wherever to bypass the blood-brain barrier.
Mhm.
And yeah, he would go to the office and be at home with like his bag of antibiotics, like however many times a day. It was like multiple times a day that he had to run these lines to get this infection out of his brain, which is just insane. And the fact that we are still doing that today, like I'm glad it works, but also can we evolve it? Because that's heavy stuff. That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, often drug molecules are quite large and there's just no good way to get them there. I think in particular disorders, I'm sure there's research into like how can we continue to. And I think there are medications you can take now that help open up the blood-brain barrier,
Well, that seems risky.
so that you can get things there that need to get there.
It's going to be one of those medications that come on advertisements late at night and the laundry list of symptoms, like the one where your legs fall off. Like,
Well, I mean, opening it up medically versus like, or medically, it's all medically, but opening it,
recreationally.
yeah, opening it up and inducing it to like be more open and permeable with the medication, I feel like is no more risky than like putting a direct line into the brain.
Well, I guess, maybe.
Hey, Matt from the future again. So just a little bit more about the blood-brain barrier. I did some research and found out that some of the modern ways that we are able to cross the blood-brain barrier include attaching drug molecules to the body's own immune cells that it would allow through to deliver them that way. You can also coat them in nanoparticles, which will allow them to pass through the blood-brain barrier. And then there's actually a technique called MRI-guided ultrasound, where sound waves are used to open up the blood-brain barrier to allow things to pass through.
Do you get more drunk faster if your blood-brain barrier is weakened?
It's a great question. I don't think so, because it seems like alcohol gets there anyway.
And it does. It absolutely does. Couple questions more about getting sick. Why do we seem to get sick more frequently when it's cold out in the winter?
Great question. I would say one of the big contributors is that there are a lot of winter holidays and more people are congregating indoors around one another, right?
Yeah.
Like you might get food poisoning at 4th of July barbecue because like somebody's mayo-based salad sat out in the sun for way too long.
Stop leaving the mayonnaise in the sun, people.
But you're generally more spread out. You're in open outdoor spaces, right? I would say in the winter, we congregate a lot more. I don't know this for certain, but I wouldn't be shocked if there's also not an effect of vitamin D being lower, and so your immune system not being as supported, and that causing infection. Hey everybody, last Matt from the future. So just a little bit more about why we get sicker in the wintertime, or rather not sicker, but why we have more instances of respiratory viruses. So there is something to the fact that we are gathering more and all sort of sharing indoor space. But also I learned that cold air and dry air inhibit immune response. And so in the wintertime, when our air is cold and dry, we actually have lower natural immunity to these types of viruses as well. But yeah, it's a great question that I've not given a lot of thought. But yeah, I'm sure there are other environmental factors with the cold. Like being cold does not make you sick. Let's clear that up right now. I know the Germans love to say like if you sleep with an air conditioner, you'll become ill. And it's like that's no. But
yeah, and you can pry my air conditioner from my clammy, fevered hands. Okay.
Or like you'll say like if you go out without a jacket on, you'll catch the flu and die.
Right. But like meanwhile, like is it the Norwegians who just like leave their babies out in the winter in the prams? They just are like, oh, the baby's fine. I love absolutely.
I mean, being cold doesn't make you ill, but certainly I do think in large part, I think it has a lot to do with people are inside more. So when there are gatherings, they're in enclosed spaces together with, maybe not the best ventilation.
Sure.
And also like, the social aspects of like winter holidays.
Makes sense. Okay. So what actually works for preventing illnesses? If we can get back to the basics.
Wash your hands. Wash your hands.
And water
Wash your hands.
Like a couple of seconds longer than you actually are.
Yeah. sing happy birthday twice. And, I think obviously, like, if you're sick or you think you're sick, do not go out in public if you can help it. Sometimes you can't help it. Controversial take, but masking also works if you are sick or are worried about becoming sick. It's not 100% foolproof, but it does assist. Getting lots of sleep, eating nutritious meals, all great ways to avoid getting sick, because if you're keeping your body in, proper working order, it's going to hopefully be able to attack those pathogens before you ever even realize you're sick. Just kick them before you even knew that you had them. Yeah. Wash your hands.
Absolutely. Do you want a soapbox about vaccine misinformation?
It seems like the time to do it. I may as well. I think, in addition to all of those practical things, like vaccinations work, right? So get your vaccines and get updated boosters. It really goes a long way. And even if you're someone who is not going to get ill, like I, in my youth, was I'll just get the flu. Like, I'm not going to get the flu shot because, like, I'm young and I can handle it and, like, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. And that's all great and good. And that was true. But, like, I did not understand public health in my youth. And, like, everyone being vaccinated helps protect the people who are unable to be vaccinated for some reason, because there are people that cannot receive vaccinations for one reason or another. And also just helps prevent the general spread. So the populations that are at risk, like the children or the elderly, young children, stay safer and, get an extra Christmas with grandma.
Absolutely. Great. Thank you. Everything Matt just said. Vaccinate yourselves and your children, please. I can't. Like,
don't let your kids get polio.
Literally, the generation to bring back polio. Like, I was upset when harem pants came back. You're bringing back polio. Can you even imagine how upset I am about this?
What's next? Bubonic plague?
I think that's kind of my list of questions. Is there anything else freaky deaky about germs, about blood, about immune systems that you want to tell me about? You want to talk about pyron disease again, don't you?
I don't. Something that I do think is interesting, that's sort of just like a random tidbit, is they are moving away from removing your appendix.
Ooh.
Yeah. So the appendix has been considered a vestigial structure for a long time, but there is some evidence that it might actually be a reservoir for like good bacteria in your gut.
Mm.
And they are moving more and more away from emergency surgery as like the first line of defense and towards actual antibiotics if your appendix gets infected.
Interesting. Okay, great. Do you have your appendix?
Mm-hmm.
I have my appendix too. Do you have your tonsils? I do too. Do you have your wisdom teeth?
No.
I don't either. Just try to find something that we're not the same in. Do you have any extra nipples?
That I'm aware of.
They can puff up later in life.
Can they?
There are stories of certain women getting pregnant and they start leaking from other areas.
Well, it was probably already there and they didn't know that it was there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I guess, I shouldn't say they pop up later in life.
It's like, you can spontaneously grow a nipple?
Watch your back. I get to wear the misinformation hat. That's my bad, people, but that's my role here, okay? Oh my goodness. All right. Thank you for all the education today.
I'm tuckered out.
I'm so tuckered out.
I think we should play a game.
You want to play a game?
Let's play a game.
Okie dokie.
So are we going to do this for Ralphie's mom?
Yeah.
The doctor? We should
do it for Miss Dr. Ralphie's mom.
I think Triminelli was their last name.
I don't know how to spell that, so she doesn't get chartreuse and she doesn't get... Stop it. All right. Who would she be into?
I think Hot Dr. Mike.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's going to see this.
I think so. You know what other internet doctor I love? Dr. Knock.
I don't know who that is.
Oh, you'd love Dr. Knock. I'll send you his intel. I'm going to link him below. Not that he needs the help from us, but he's fantastic.
We're just going to keep giving doctors. What are we going to do? Dr. Pebble Popper next?
Yeah. And we love hot doctors. What is she driving? Dual income on doctors? Lambo.
Okay. Lamborghini Mercy.
Yeah. Well, and I think at this point, Ralphie's old and out of the house, so she doesn't need to be commuting.
She doesn't need I mean, maybe she's
I
got
don't
a
know.
second family and a whole nother gaggle of children.
Oh my God, maybe she does. Okay, so then like one of those big Ford Caravan things. She's like become.
I think she'd be like an Escalade girly.
Absolutely love that.
And just like a sensible BMW.
Just could be anything.
So
What
it's
kind of
little, like,
BMW? I'll never know.
one of them. One of those little, like, normal sedan BMWs.
Like a little sedan.
Yeah.
Colors?
Black.
Lime. Okay.
Oh, look, you just got to have a black Escalade.
Oh,
Do
absolutely.
they come in other colors?
If they do, they shouldn't.
Maybe like white and black are the two options.
Do you want white?
No, oh, no, we don't have to do white.
Okay.
Do whatever you want.
I want magenta. Obviously she's a doctor. I want her to be an advisor to the pit.
Like for TV.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to be like Department of like Health. I thought you were going to say
She
advisor
gets
to
into
the...
politics.
Yeah.
She seems bossy enough. She gets RFK's job because we're done with him.
Secretary of Health. Oh, I think we'd be in better hands.
And we would be from an animated mother.
All mothers animated.
What if Ralphie's not actually her kid? Just saying, because I always have to have 0 as an option.
I mean, she
And
goes
then
from having
Ralphie.
0 additional kids. Like, seeing
Fair.
that she has a child.
Okay, yeah. 1 additional kid or 8.
All right.
You
do it.
always do like a really reasonable number.
I think I'm just very afraid of...
When we played this
like-
as kids, we're like 37.
Yeah. That's true. That's true. I need to get into the spirit of it and not just be like, oh my God, 8 kids sounds awful. I don't want to
and
do
it
that
does,
to anyone.
And it does. But that's part of the game. All right, where's she living?
I want her to be like doing Doctors Without Borders.
Okay. So
So like
global
maybe just like, yeah, travel doctor.
love. I think
DC,
she should also
if
like
she's
what's
working.
a super ritzy neighborhood in and around DC. Like she lives in like Chevy Chase or Bethesda because, she works on the hill then.
Yeah, probably
It's a fine
Bethesda,
commute.
Germantown. I mean, if
That's,
she's
like,
advised in the pit,
coolish-ish.
she
She,
might live in Pittsburgh.
Maybe she does live in Pittsburgh. Are you ready to predict the future then?
Yeah, let's do it. Oh,
We have an interface update, people. This is crazy. This website is like, oh my God, we're getting so much traction. We must update. Your MASH future, congratulations. You ended up with hot Dr. Mike. You have 0 children and a lime Escalade parked outside your mansion in Bethesda. That checks out. Somehow this is now your life as advisor to the pit. Look, it's a long commute. But
yeah. Well, she doesn't have to be there to advise, right?
yeah, maybe she just phones it in. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy for her.
Maybe after she stopped being a White House correspondent, she started advising the pit as her like retirement job.
Yeah, absolutely. Damn.
I love that. Also, for the people at home, in our next episode, you will not see a interface update as we are recording this out of order due to some technical difficulties.
And it wouldn't be us without him. What'd you call yourself earlier? A Luddite?
I did, yeah.
Happens.
Yep, and I am.
Whoops.
Oh, goodness.
We did it. And thank you for teaching me everything I ever wanted to know about germs and our immune system and the
Yeah.
blood-brain barrier and pyron diseases.
Anytime. I'm a little worried Future Matt's going to have a lot of work cut out for him this episode. But, well, that's it for our Yap session today. Thanks for joining us. Next week, we'll be back with Season 1, Episode 4, Magic School Bus Gets Eaten.
Can't wait. Thanks, Matt.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Well, that's a wrap on our Yap session for this week. If you enjoyed the episode, subscribe and share. We can be found on Instagram and TikTok at A Girl and Her Gay Watch and on Blue Sky at A Girl and Her Gay Pod.
If you'd like to get in direct contact with us to ask a question or submit a correction, send us an email at agirlandhergaywatch@gmail.com. We would love to hear from you.